In this video, we will discuss about photoperiodism. Now, what is photoperiodism? Photo mean light, periodism mean period or length of the day, period length. So, day length affects flowering in plant. So, we can define photoperiodism. This is the phenomena of physiological changes occurring in plants in response to relative length of day and night. So, what is the day length? What is the night length during winter and summers? This affects flowering in plant. That's why some of the plant flower in summer and some of the plants they flower in the winter. So this phenomena was studied by Garner and Allard in 1920. They also reported this term photoperiodism in 1920. So they studied in lot of plant, like they studied in tobacco. Nicotiana tabacum is botanical name. Maryland mammoth variety of tobacco, and they have done flowering in other plants also, like glycine max, cosmos, spinach, palak, radish, lettuce. So we can see this is tobacco plant, this is glycine max, this is spinach, this part is its flowering part, and this is cosmos. So they have done a lot of work in this plant, and they have studied in detail about flowering, how day length affects flowering in these plants. So Garner and Allard, when they done lot of studies on flowering, so in 1920 they recognized three classes of plants depending upon their photoperiodic responses, depending upon their light requirement. So they have categorized depending upon their light requirement short day plants when day length is less than the critical length. So this is in case of cosmos. Flowering is induced by exposure to short days. Now what is critical day length? Supposing a plant requires 10 hours light and 14 hours dark period. Now this is a supposing short day plant. Now its critical day length will be 10 hour. Now if this plant is exposed to 11 hour, no flowering will take place. If this plant is exposed to 9 hours, flowering will take place. So here day length is less than the critical day length. Now if we see in long day plant, here day length is longer than the critical day length. Now this is in case of spinach. Supposing plant requires 12 hours light and 12 hours dark period. If the plant is given 13 hours light, flowering will take place. If the plant is given 12 hours of light, flowering will take place. If the plant is given 11 hours of light, flowering will not take place. So here day length is longer than the critical day length. Flowering is induced by exposure to long days. And what is the day length, whether it is 11 hour light or 13 hour dark, or it is 10 hour light or 14 hour dark, if flowering is not affected by any of the day length, it will occur in response to its day length. So these plants, they are called as day neutral plant. Example is tomato. There are other examples also. Sometimes some of the plant, first they require short day periods, then they require long day periods. So first exposure to short days followed by long days, then only flowering will take place. Example is candy tuft, Iberis amara, winter rye, its botanical name is Cicale cereale. Then there are other kinds of plants where they require long day, then followed by short day. So first they will require long days, then they require short days. Example is bryophyllum, also called as patharchat, and jasmine plant, where flowering will take place. So critical day length is very important. Like we discussed, if the plant require 11 hour of light and 13 hours dark, if it is short day, it can be 11, it can be 10, it can be 10.5, but it cannot be 12, right? So this critical day length is very important. It should not be exceeded in case of short day plant. But if it is, supposing it is 12 hours light, 12 hours dark, and this is a long day plant, if we are giving 13-hour light, then flowering will take place. If we are giving 12 hours of light, flowering will take place. So day length must be exceeded in long day plant. It should not be exceeded in the short day plants. So this is a specific light requirement which imposes a restriction on flowering. So we can define critical day length is that continuous duration of light which must not be exceeded in the short day plant and should always be exceeded in the long day plants in order to bring them flowering. So this light requirement is also called as photoperiod, and this is very important for induction of the flowering. So critical dark period is also important in case of some of the plants, like if supposing we have given 11 hours light and 13 hours dark. And if during the dark period we have exposed the plant to the light, if it is short day, flowering will not take place. But if it is long day, flowering will occur. So continuous dark period should not be exceeded, right? In continuous dark period which must not exceed in long day plant and should always be exceeded in the short day plant. So critical dark period is also important in short day plant. So if a dark period is interrupted in short day plant by a flash of light, flowering will not take place. Now this is the short day plant, Xanthium stomarium. This requires 15.5 hours of light and 8.5 hours of dark period. If its dark period is interrupted by a flash of light, flowering will not take place. So long uninterrupted dark period is important. If dark period is interrupted by a flash of light, flowering will not take place. So these are some of the short day plants: tobacco, glycine max, cosmos, and chrysanthemum. Now we'll discuss how this is happening. Now, supposing this is a plant which is requiring 9 hours of light and 15 hours of dark, right? And if we are giving 9 hours of light and 15 hours of dark, and dark period is also continuous, so if it is a short day plant, flowering will take place. But if it is a long day plant, flowering will not take place. Now, supposing we are exposing the plant to 15 hours of light and 9 hours of dark, and if it is a long day plant, flowering will not take place. This will remain vegetative, and if it is long day plant, flowering will take place. Now, if we are giving 9 hours of light and 15 hours of dark, but we are exposing the plant to the white light, if it is short day plant, flowering will not take place, but if it is long day plant, flowering will take place. Now again, if it is 9 hours of light, 15 hours of dark, and dark period is interrupted by a flash of red light, 660 mu micron is its wavelength. Short day plants, they will remain vegetative if their dark period is interrupted, and if they are long day plant, flowering will take place. And if we are exposing the plant to far red light at night, 730 mu micron, then flowering will not occur in the long day plant, but this will occur in the short day plant. And if red light exposure is followed by far red light exposure, red light exposure is of 660 mu micron and far red light exposure is 730 mu micron, flowering take place in the short day plant, and this will not occur in the long day plant. They will remain vegetative. So this is very important. A dark period is interrupted or not, whether it is red light or it is the far red light. So critical day length is very, very important. Now these are the long day plant: spinach, and this is henbane. Its botanical name is Hyoscyamus niger. So this is a long day plant. Now we'll discuss some of the day neutral plant where a critical day length is not important. It's not affected by day length. Khira, Cucumis stivus is its botanical name. This is also called as cucumber. These are the flowers of the cucumber and these are the fruits of the cucumber. Then in case of Zea mays, Makki, its botanical name is Zea mays, and this is also called as maize. So again, this is affected by not day length. Here tomato, flowering, these are its flowers, this is its fruit, and this will ripen to form mature fruit. So in tomato also, flowering is not affected by day length. So these are called as day neutral plant. So which part of the plant is responsible for perceiving the photoperiodic stimulus? When we are exposing the plant to the light, whether it is short day or it is the long day, which part of the plant is responsible, which is receiving the stimulus of light and which is responsible for the flowering? So we'll discuss with the help of certain experiments. Perception, this is called as perception or receiving of photo, light, period, stimulus. So here we'll discuss. Now this plant is Xanthium stomarium. cucumber plant. This is a short day plant. It requires 15.5 hours of light, and rest of the part is dark period, 8.5 hours dark period. So here if we are giving exposure to supposing 1 hour, one cycle like 1 day we have exposed to 15.5 hours of light and 8.5 hours of dark period. So this is one cycle. If we have exposed the plant to one cycle correctly, flowering will take place. So this is also called as photoperiodic inductive cycle. Now supposing this is we are doing certain experiments here. We have given proper condition, proper short day condition, so we can see flowering will take place and fruit formation will also occur, right? So this is when we have properly exposed to the short day photo periods. Now we have defoliated the plant, we have removed all the leaves, and then we have exposed to the short day photo period. So we can see here no flowering, no fruiting, right? We have defoliated the plant. Now here in this third experiment we have done, we have only exposed one of the leaf to the short day condition, and we are exposing one leaf to the short day condition. So we can see here all other leaves, they are not there, but flowering and fruiting it take place. That means flowering stimulus is being translocated to other parts of the plant. So this is resulting in flowering and fruiting. That means flowering stimulus can travel from one place to the another place. And this experiment also proved that leaf is responsible for perceiving the photoperiodic stimulus. So leaf is the organ. Now here we are exposing a short day plant to the long day conditions, right? So when we are exposing it to long day condition, this will remain vegetative, no flowering will take place. And when again we have defoliated the plant and exposing to long day condition, no flowering will take place. Now if we are exposing the plant to long day condition, but only one leaf is exposed to the short day condition, and this is basically short day plant, then also flowering will take place, because this leaf when receives the short day condition, the stimulus will travel to other parts of the plant. Whether a whole plant is receiving the long day plant, but this stimulus has been traveling into the plant, so this flowering will occur, fruiting will also occur. So this experiment also proves that one leaf is responsible for the perceiving the stimulus. One leaf is enough for receiving the photoperiodic stimulus. So leaves are the organ which perceive or receive the photoperiodic stimulus. So photoperiodic stimulus is perceived by leaves. This has been proved by these experiments. Another experiment is now short day plant. We are exposing, these are two branches of the plant, right? One branch is being exposed to the short day and another one is being exposed to the long day. Basically this is a short day plant, so flowering and fruiting will take place. That means this is being traveled, stimulus is traveling from short day branch to the long day condition. Now here we can see this branch is exposed to the long day and this branch is exposed to the short day, but only one leaf is there, right? All other leaves, they are defoliated, they have been removed, only one leaf is there. Then also flowering and fruiting is taking place in the whole plant. And here we have defoliated the short day plant, right? Not even single leaf is there, and we have exposed it to the long day. So we can see here no flowering, no fruiting has occurred into this plant. So leaves, they are responsible for perceiving the photoperiodic stimulus. Now, in the next experiment, what we have done, we have exposed this plant to the short day condition, flowering and fruiting has taken place. And this is the short day plant which we have kept in the long day condition. No flowering, no fruiting has occurred. But if we graft them, right, if we take this plant without flowering and fruiting and graft with the short day condition plant, and this plant has been exposed to the short day condition, then flowering will occur in both the plants when grafting has taken place. So photoperiodic stimulus can be transmitted or it can travel from one branch of the plant to the another branch. So this can travel and this can cause the flowering in the plant. So this is which organ of the plant is perceiving the stimulus, whether it can travel from one plant to another or not, whether it can travel from one part of the plant to another plant, then which pigment is responsible for perceiving the photoperiodic stimulus. Now this has been proved by experiment that this is the phytochrome. So photoperiodism is governed or it can be responded by some pigment in the leaf, and this pigment is called as phytochrome, and this pigment is photoreversible pigment Now this pigment is bluish billy-protein, and this is proteinaceous in nature, and this is bluish billy-protein, and this exists in two forms, PR and PFR, and they can get interconverted into each other. PR can change into PFR and PFR can change into the PR. When PR form is exposed to red light 660 mu micron, this will changes to PFR, far red light. And when this is exposed to far red 730 mu micron, this will change to PR. So they are interconvertible. So under continuous darkness, supposing dark period is not interrupted at night, PFR form in the morning, it will change to PR form, which is resulting in the flowering. And how exactly this flowering is occurring by phytochrome pigment, this will discussed in the next video. Thank you for watching my video. If you have enjoyed my video, please like, share and subscribe.